Okay, so one more activity. So we're gonna do some note identification. We're gonna fill in the blanks. But I wanted to show you something here. Look at this note over here on the right. Is it a treble clef note or is it a bass clef note? It's kind of weird, right? Because it kind of sits in between the two clefs. And it's funny because that note is actually called middle C. Here's middle C. Look, coming from a treble clef perspective, we wanted to fill in the blanks. We had, this was our G clef. We know that's the G, right? On the second line. And this note here is on the first ledger line below the staff. Well, filling in the blanks, we're here. We're on the line, so we have to go to the space. We're in the space, so we have to go to the line. We're on the line, so we have to go below that line. And then one more note below looks like this. And when we go back, the symbols go down, our notes, we go backwards. G, F, E, D, C. So that's a C in treble clef. Now let's look at it in terms of bass clef. You already know it's going to be a C, but just seeing it unfold is interesting. So here we go. Here's your bass clef or your F clef right here. And here's the note sitting on the first ledger line above the staff. And then we have to fill in the blanks. We're on the fourth line. We got to go into the space above it. We're in the fourth space. We got to go onto the line above that. We're on the fifth line. We have to go just above the staff. And then we have to use a ledger line to keep our place. Remember the equal distant lines like this? There's another one that magically appears when we need that space. So let's go. Here it is. If this is F and symbols are going up, then we go forward in our alphabet. F to G. Now remember the bag technique. The bag technique is this. What's the note above G? Oh, it's A. Okay, it's just a directional memory device, a mnemonic device, bag, that shows you the direction of the notes. If I'm at G and I still have to go up, forward, I got to go to A. Then that makes this a B, and that makes this a C. So interesting. Both these notes here in the middle are C. This is C on the treble clef. This is C on the bass clef. It's another way of seeing it. I think a piano player would probably see it like this more. But just interesting to see it over here as actually sitting in the middle. And its name is actually middle C. And it sounds like this. Hear how those two notes sounded the same? They're played by the same key on the piano. One last little piece here to do some practice with. Hold on. One last little piece. Remember how the notes move. So if I'm on the second line, doesn't matter whether I'm in treble clef or bass clef, doesn't really matter right now. The only places I can go is either up into this space or down into this space, right? If I'm on this, in this space right here, I can either go up to this line, to being on this line, or down to being on this line. That's how you can move. Those are the places you can go, right? And if you look at, we know our lines. First line, right? This is a note on the first line. This is a note in the first space. This is a note on the second line, in the second space. On the third line, in the third space. On the fourth line, in the fourth space. On the fifth line. Those are all the notes. Now, we don't necessarily have a clef on this yet. But if we put a treble clef on it, now this becomes, that's G. This is in the space would be F. Now that would make this an E. And if you went forward in your alphabet, E, F, G, the bag technique tells us that the note above G is A, B, C, D, E, F. Interestingly enough, you can see if you take those same notes and you change the clef, then all the note names change, right? Let's say we wanted to put it in a bass clef world. All right, so hold on. So now we're going to go into a bass clef mode. There's the clef with the two dots. And the same, we're on the first line. We're in the first space. We're on the second line. We're in the second space. We're on the third line. We're in the third space. We're on the fourth line. We're in the fourth space. We're on the fifth line. Now, if we wanted to know what the name of that note is, let's go over here. There's F, right? Let's go backwards down to this note that's on the first line. So if we're on F here, D, C, E, A, G. So this first note in bass clef over here is G. And the bag technique tells you the next note up is A, then B, then C, then D, then E, then F, then G, then A again. These two A's look different, but they still have a similar sound and they have the same name. So let's practice doing a couple notes now. Here we go. Back on F. There's our F clef. There's our G clef. Oh, no, we don't have to put it right. There it is. And let's practice doing a couple note identifications. Now we just looked at that C for what it was. And then we looked at all of our notes, in the lines and spaces. Let's look at a couple note identifications. So here we go. We know that's C. What's this one? Okay, well, it's a treble clef note, right? Treble clef note. This is our G, and we need this note. So we're on the second line, and the next thing we know, we're going down to being in the first space. It's just a one-note movement. So if it's G and it goes down one spot or one possible move, you go backwards in your alphabet, and the note name is F. All right, good. Let's go to bass clef really quick. Bass clef says fourth line is F, and we want to know the name of the note right now that's on the third line. So here we go, and we got to fill in the blanks in between. If I'm on the fourth line, the next place I could go is the space between the third and the fourth line. Then the next place I can go is being on the third line. So we filled in the blanks. We know that this is F. When we go down, we go backwards. That's the note E. When we go down, we go backwards. That's the note D. So over here is the note D in bass clef. We're still in bass clef. Notice it didn't go very far, did it? The note didn't go very far. We know that that's the note F, and we're going to fill in the blanks now. So we'll go over here, put the note. Where is this bass clef note? It's in the second space, which is the note in the space between the second and the third line. And now we're going to fill in the blanks between those two notes. If this is on the fourth line, we go to the note between the third and the fourth line. And then we go down to being on the third line. And then from there, we have to go into the space, which is between the second and the third line. We go backwards in our alphabet. F down to E, E down to D, D down to C. You've seen that a lot of times playing piano in class. There it is. That's the note C. You want to do it on this chart? F, E, D. There it is. This will be our last one. So now we're back on treble clef. Let's put our bass clef back where it belongs. Good. So now we're back on treble clef. We're going to play fill in the blank time, right? So let's erase all this. Let's go to, let's make a treble clef real quick. There it is. We're all around the second line. This is the note G, G clef, right, on the second line. And we want to get to the note that's below the first line, also known as below the staff, right? Let's fill in the blanks now. We're on the second line. The next, if we're going down towards this note, the only place we can go is between the first and the second line into that space. Now we're in the space. The only place we can go is to being on the line. Now that we're on this line, the only place we can go is to being below that line, also known as below the staff. This is the note G, because it's G clef. The bag technique tells us, you just see that right there. The note as you go down, the note in the alphabet before G is F. The note in the alphabet before F is E, and the note in the alphabet before E is D. So this is the note D on treble clef. And that's how you do it. You fill in the blanks. Here we go. Do it up here. E, D. So right now in class, we're only moving on the lines and spaces at any given only moves. And finally, look at that. We landed back on C. What a perfect ending, right? So if we're on the note G, G, E, C, and if we're on the note F, F, G, A, C. That's a great spot to end the lesson the same way we started. All right, everybody. Very good. Talk to you soon.